Hello and welcome to the Extreme Cinema Podcast Season 3 finale and also Christmas special. Because it's
Christmas
like,
special in August.
well, we're recording it in August. You're
Well, yeah,
hearing
true.
this in like before Halloween? Question mark. It's close
Whenever.
enough.
It's
It's
Christmas
Christmas special. Elves, Christmas classic that we watch every year
that we've never seen
that
before.
we'd never seen before, barely heard of until like a few weeks back.
Yeah, I think I've seen because I think Red Letter Media did this,
Yeah,
didn't they?
they
I
did it on
think I
Best of the
did.
Worst.
Yeah, I must have seen it because I recognized it as soon as I started it. Which, full disclosure, as you know, I watched today for the recording of this, and
Yeah. I messaged you being like, "Yep, it's a movie, all right." Because I thought when I watched it, how has this not been done Best of the Worst? And then it's like in the IMDb trivia, it was on Best of the Worst. I'm like,
yeah.
well, obviously it was on Best of the Worst.
Because me and you never discuss these films once we've watched them because we leave it for this. But we both just said, yeah, this is a movie. Like,
It of all the movies, I mean, debatably, it's a movie. It's like it's like really bad and then incredibly unhinged. It's like everyone like the reason we picked this is because like tons of people we know like watched it and they like I'd not seen people have like a visceral reaction to a movie like this. Like people were talking about it at me for like hours just trying to make sense of it and like, is this podcast worthy? And people were like, yeah, it's podcast worthy. And it absolutely fucking is.
oh, absolutely podcast worthy. Yeah, it's this is a movie, all right. Like, from the start, I was like, wow, this is gonna be interesting.
It's not quite like so bad it's good classic. However, the thing that it's most reminded me of is Troll 2, like by quite some distance.
Yeah, yeah. Especially the creature design and just
Oh,
the
the elf. What, you know the bit where the kid is like, this elf is like, and the parents like, no, not elf, elves, and just like, what? There's a distinction.
but there's just one as well. It's not just the plural. I thought like, there's so many lines in this movie that I'd love to do a dramatic reading. Like it's one of the some amazing bits.
It does sound at parts like an AI made it, but then at other parts the lines are so bonkers they could only have come from like
Yeah,
completely lazy screenwriting. I mean, the thing is, right, there's a bit in it which is the best line in the film where one of them says, you know, when there's no room in hell, the elves will walk, which is a reference to Dawn of the Dead. And I was like, okay, is this film self-aware? But it's like not. But that line would, like, if that was in a spoof horror movie, you'd be like, that's fucking genius. Except
is
it's like the only
is
bit like that in the film.
is your favorite line, Sterny? Not you've got big tits and I'm gonna tell everyone.
No,
That's my
you got big fucking tits, and I saw, and I'm gonna tell you. And it's like, oh, you, my little brother. Like, not that that's the creepiest fucking thing ever on film. And it's like, oh,
it's
you,
like
like,
oh okay.
so wholesome. It's so, that line is so weird. Like, that's like, I think the first line, like, what is actually no, the first scene when they're in the forest about
Oh,
like
doing the
anti-Christmas,
anti-Christmas ritual.
the
Yeah,
anti-Christmas witches. It's so fucking like. I think the thing with the film is like the first third is great and the final third is great and the middle portion
yeah.
is a bit boring.
It's quite boring, and for a what 80-odd minute film, it drags.
Thank God
Which,
it was 80 odd minutes.
thank God, it was only 80-odd minutes. Yeah, I could have not have put up with much more.
I think like oof, like one of my favorite lines in it was like the Santa Dan Haggerty, who's he's not Santa, he's just constantly called Santa in the film. When he's like, "Ugh, you know, you're a cop. This isn't part of your business. You're not even a cop anymore. You're not a security guard anymore." Like out loud to no one.
Yeah,
And that scene's
just
fucking great.
talking shit to himself. It's
It's
so
so funny
funny.
because like they have the murder in like the dressing room in the department store, and then obviously like it's no longer a crime scene, but they still have the chalk outline of the body, so
Oh,
it's just
when
going to
he
work, and the chalk outline is there.
when he looks over and he talks to it, and I was like, oh my God, no! Like, that's genius. That's so good.
I have to give Dan Haggerty some credit because the acting in this film is wall to wall fucking terrible.
Oh yes.
And like he's not good either, but he is at least like charismatic enough that I liked his character.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the only one as well.
Yeah,
All of the others were just horrible.
the I mean the like all the main women, and it's also like just bad writing of like teenage girls. It's like
Yeah.
bad writing of like
What
horny teenage
the
girls
masters
written by.
without slaves, Sturdy? Like it's what is? Oh, we need to talk about the plot eventually because this
we
is the
oh
most. Oh, no, oh my
I
god, it's insane.
shall we give okay because I normally write, I mean, I've got a ton of notes here for it, as many as I could, because this film's actually,
Yeah.
like, there's so little information on it. However, Rich Evans, would you please explain the plot of
Oh my god.
Elves?
So, it starts with some girls doing an anti-Christmas pagan ritual,
The
and one of
anti-Christmas witches.
yes, they're anti-Christmas witches, and they're in the woods doing a ritual. And one of them accidentally cuts a hand. The main girl spills some blood, which kind of awakens an elf or an elf.
Elf?
There's a difference, elves. But there's only one. But
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's called elves, plural, but there is singular elf. Like, I really thought, based on the name, the fact it's set at Christmas and the poster, it was going to be a Gremlins ripoff, and it's
yeah,
not. Like,
same,
credit where
yeah.
credit's due, it's not a Gremlins ripoff.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's completely different. So she cuts her hand and awakens this ancient elf who is essential like part of a Nazi plot
But that's only,
to
like,
bring up.
revealed in the third arc. Well, I guess,
Yeah,
like,
that's towards the end, but
because
um,
her granddad, her supposed granddad, is,
granddad father.
oh, no, yeah, so he's, like, an ex-Nazi, so he's got the worst German accent, like, ever. Like, it took me a while to work out it was meant to be German.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like, when he started, I was genuinely like, I am actually really confused what this accent is. I thought it might have meant to be Eastern European first.
My favorite thing is that she's the last remaining like Aryan virgin in the world. Like what? Like,
And it's like she
like
was, like, because she was, like, an incest child, therefore she's, like, pure breed, but it doesn't make sense.
it makes no sense. And
Oh, I mean, what are we trying to make sense of it? Anyway, we're spoiling the twist of the film.
yeah, sorry, I went right to the end, but I just I wanted to get to that bit so so much.
That's the
And
bit
then we
where the
cut.
film goes from, like, hackneyed to completely unhinged.
It goes unhinged. It's amazing, and we also have the ex cop, alcoholic who gets hired as a Santa because the other Santa is killed by the elf because he said one of my favorite lines in the movie where the main girl sits on his knee and he said, Santa said oral is what I was just like, what is happening? When he didn't even ask for it. He just exclaims the word like,
Yeah, and then I love after he gets murdered,
like,
the cop is like to the girl he harassed, like, I bet it was you. Just like
yeah,
instantly. Like no
just
proof.
like no proof at all.
The
Oh, what?
17-year-old girl, it was clearly you.
It's absolutely insane. So, and then there's the evil mother of the main girl who's that her friends think is a stepmom, but then she's like, "No, it's my mum," and I'm like, "How on earth did the friend not know it was your mum?" Like, what? What?
She's also so cartoonishly evil. Like, at the start, it's like, oh, we told you not to go into the woods, and you went into the woods, so I'm taking away all the money
Oh
you've
yeah,
saved to go to university.
it's like I'm
Is that
taking away
legal?
your entire savings account. It's like what? Why is she so evil? There's no point at
And she,
all. As
like,
well,
murders her cat just for also
yeah,
no reason.
I did.
She doesn't like the
So
cat.
I looked at like a letterboxd review before I went into it, and I saw that a cat got murdered, and I was like, "Oh, the elf will kill it." And I was like, "Wait, what? Why is this woman just murdering a cat? She's the most. She's more unhinged than the elf. Like, like it's
Like,
uh,
the bath scene, aka, like, the
the
only
cool
good
death.
horror sequence in the film,
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, barely, because the elf looks so fucking shit. Like, she's putting on lipstick to go into the bath.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah. It's
again, like, I was so like, what? Do we have to waste a minute of screen time? Is that it? You got to get up to 89 minutes?
there's so many choices in this film that blew my mind, and I loved it so much. Just so, I hated it. It's a terrible movie, but I loved it as well.
I loved the last third. So like,
Yeah.
okay, so next bit they're in the department store and they're camping out to see a bunch of boys. But then the
Yeah. Yeah.
Nazis, because the elves come back, the Nazis are there to try and protect. I don't actually know what the point of them being in the
I
store
think they were
was.
trying to steal her.
They're trying to kidnap
Cause
her. That makes
yeah,
sense.
because they wanted to breed with the elf. it's,
But they were trying to
it's the
protect
whole
her. So
thing.
like when they went in with guns firing on everyone, and then they went, "No, we're endangering her. Leave."
Yeah, but all of her friends die in there. Her and the cop survive, and then he's like, "What is this symbol thing?" And they start researching because they all get fired, so all they
What's
can do
this,
is
your new party
research an
insignia?
elf.
No, it's the old party insignia. You know, when the Nazis were just entirely elf based
Yeah,
before
but
they
he's like,
branched into all that other wacky stuff.
is this your new insignia? No, that's the oldest Nazi insignia. Like, oh, wow. Like,
Yeah, so
so,
they just digging into the symbol because he's like, oh, I'm not a cop, but I left it behind, but he can't quite give it up. So the new cop is like, you have 24 hours, go get me results. If you can get results, good. So they find it's elves, and then he's like running between the like various elf experts. So they go to the first elf expert, and he
yeah,
tells them about the elf that uh you know Noah had to save the elf, and it wasn't actually like insects, it was elves. And then he's, because they have to waste more time, he's like, oh, but I need to know about like the elf Nazi relationship. He's like, oh, in terms of the elf Nazi relationship, this professor is actually the better one, so go to
yeah.
him.
And then they break into his fucking house.
He's like, can you tell me the theories about the Nazis and the elves? Oh my fucking god, this movie. It's it's an interesting one. I kind of admire, like, it could have just been a Gremlins ripoff if they wanted it to be, but nope, it's elves.
It is entirely its own thing. It was a. I did not see where it was going. I can say that. Like,
Oh my god.
uh,
So the reveal, because like the grandfather's like, okay, you go pack your stuff, we gotta, get out of here. Uh and then the mother comes up and the girl's like, I wish dad was here, he'd know what to do. He goes,
he
she
is
goes, your
here.
father is in the study. And he's like, what do you mean the grandfather is here? He goes, no, your grandfather is your father. Dun
And then the
dun
music's like dun
dun.
dun.
And this is when we go to like off the fucking rails. So it's like, yeah, she is like the pure breed Aryan whom on Christmas Eve the elf will mate with to create the pure master elf race and take
Yep,
over the world. Because like elves
that's
are the
the one.
best assassins, even though this elf really does not seem like the best assassin one bit.
We have to talk about how this elf is apparently like the greatest race. It's like a master race, and it
It
and
looks
it
like
looks
Mac and Me.
it looks like fucking back at me. It's like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's horrific.
Like
It's
the
some dude.
what's worse? Yeah, the dude in the mask or the little legs they're stomping forward anytime they have to show
Oh,
it move, and it's just the legs. Some guy on like with little sticks is going bump, bump, bump,
nah.
bump.
The little legs are beautiful. I loved that. Oh, what a movie! Oh, this has just been me losing my mind so far. It's like
So yeah, so the elf kills the mother. Did you notice as well? There was a fucking, I don't understand, because there was like, before she gets undressed to go in the bath, there's a fade. And I'm like, oh, is that the stunt double? And instead of just cutting, they've faded.
they faded.
But then it shows her in the bath. I'm like, no, it was just, they probably did it, just didn't have like the footage. By the way, the cinematography in this is like garbage.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
like the light, at the end of fucking Double Down, Neil Breen Double Down, it says lighting none. I reckon that's what happened in this film, lighting none.
none. It'd say like the sun or something. It's like, like
Well, because at
It's
night you can't fucking see what is
no.
happening at night. Like, you genuinely cannot make out. Like, when they're running in the forest at the end, I'm like,
Oh
I have
yes.
no clue.
Towards the end, I was like, "What is going on?" It's just like groping her and then like feeling around her, and oh, what a weird scene towards the end. I
And
was
then
sat there
they
like,
grab the jewel that the Nazi guy had assembled,
yeah,
and the kid brother like brings it to her, and she slams it down where she conjured the elf up, and then the elf explodes. But then
yeah,
it cuts to like an elf fetus at the end.
yeah,
So
yeah. So maybe something happened. Can we talk about the
sequel.
bit where she slams the jewel down and then says the F slur for no apparent reason? Like, it's like,
Did I must have missed that.
oh my god, did you really?
Yeah, I must have just been so out of it that I was just like, sure, okay, I'm off to bed, great.
Oh, it's quite quiet, but yeah, she that's a big hero moment. That's what she calls him. That's it's
Oh.
so like, oh,
Just imagine
that
that
game.
script meeting, and then she says that. Just like, brilliant,
Just like
cut, print, excellent, done.
I actually put it back because it is quite quiet as well. And I was like, did I just hear that right? And yeah, I did. Yeah, that's exactly what she says. Yeah.
Elves problematic? Quoi?
Maybe the Nazis were the friends we made along the way.
In fairness, like, she is the perfect Aryan child, so, that wouldn't be out of character.
It is true. I think she's a bit fucked up as well.
And then
Her mother was evil and her granddad's a dad. It's all a bit
an ex-Nazi.
and an ex-Nazi, yeah, who was supposed to sympathize with.
I
It's
love
all
as well that, like, when the Nazis come to him first, he's like, oh, we just respected your privacy, we knew who, and he pulls a gun on them and almost shoots them. They don't think maybe we got to deal with this guy.
no. They're just like, whatever.
Oh my god, the car bomb! When the Nazi leaves a car bomb for Santa Cop.
For Santa Cop, yeah. It's oh, what? There's so many scenes in this that are beautiful. That like maybe it's not because I give this a 1 star when I watched it. But maybe it's actually genius.
It's not quite like and it's so funny. Like, normally, when we do a lot of films, like especially classic films, I look up Roger Ebert's review, I look up Pauline Kael's review. Those tend to be like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
default. What does the Guardian said, Telegraph, etc. Here we're just on random fucking blogs because
Oh
like.
yeah. Nobody had seen this. Like,
Yeah, people are just baffled by it. It's got like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5
yeah.
reviews, unsurprisingly. And it seems to be like some people love it. Like Patrick Kalner of the Wolfman Cometh, reputable website that we had all heard of until today,
Yes, yes.
said it's the zenith of so bad it's good holiday classics, which bit much, but it seems to be like it's either you love it or it's like mid-tier so bad it's good, which I'd agree with.
Yeah.
Justin, no last name apparently, on Mutant Reviews said, while it's not the best bad movie I've ever seen due to its slow pacing, Elves proves it can be just as bonkers as classic like Jack Frost, which I sure, Troll 2, or Samurai Cop. Out of nowhere bizarre quotes, terrible production values, a main monster who's thoroughly underwhelming, combined for a Christmas treat that we all deserve.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'd
sounds
much
about right.
I'd much rather go with like Silent Night, Deadly Night or something like that. But
Then Jack Frost.
than Jack Frost, yeah. What an odd choice there. But anyway.
Garbage Day!
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Thank you to the 2 listeners who know. Who know. Um yeah, it's really fucking bad. Like I mean, the plot is actually the best thing about the movie, frankly, because like Dom said, you ain't predicting where it's going.
Oh no, absolutely not. Like if anybody just went into this blind, you'd have no idea. Like how on earth could anybody ever guess? Like
There are just so many like lines that are so bad. That was kind of what wrote us to Troll 2, but Troll 2 has the excuse of not being made by English speakers.
yes.
That's why, like, it sounds like, Chat GPT version 1 or something would bring stuff like this out.
Yeah, this just like you said in that past review, it does slog a bit as well. Like there's not enough elf.
The production cost. That rubber mask ain't cheap.
That ain't
But
cheap.
that's
Like,
the thing. The
there's
elf is
so
so
much.
shit. Like you could have
Yeah.
had more elf in it. I actually doubt it would have cost the production more money.
No, because there's so much just shitty human drama in this. That's just like, okay, tell us about the Nazis and the Elves again. Like, cool.
But I don't mind telling you like the nuts there. It's like the human stuff and like her and the shop job and her friends. Like I know the main girl's name is Kirsten because they
Yeah.
keep yelling her name, but like they're all completely indistinguishable. I think
Oh,
one of them was
completely.
meant to
Yeah.
be like the horny one, but I can't really tell. I think that was meant to be her character, maybe.
Yeah, but not even in any like substantial way, like you'd see in old schlocky horrors like this. Like it's because there's not even that much like shock value, really.
The shock values in the the bathtub murder where the elf
Yeah,
throws the radio
radio
in.
thing.
She's
Yeah,
listening to Wagner, which I guess was some
yeah.
thought
No,
behind it. I think that's Wagner. I'm not entirely sure, but
I think so. I'm German, so you know.
yeah, like throws the radio in it, and then she electrocutes death. But it's actually like a good schlocky bad horror movie kill, and then
Yeah,
the incest plot out of fucking nowhere. We're like, what? No, like I see why everyone lost their fucking minds watching this film. Like as the plot starts to reveal itself, because it is like a bit of a mystery as to like who the dad is, what's the elf, what are the Nazis and the elves, etc. You're just like, oh my fucking god, this is like mental.
yeah. It's absolutely insane. It's I can't imagine going into this. Like, it must be fun watching it as a group. I imagine as well. It's one of those. Watch
Yeah,
it as
yeah.
a group and just drink a lot and have fun
You'd
with it. Like,
you'd have a blast when it gets to the third act. Like I don't regret watching it. I have to say, actually, like last night I was in the shower and I was like, oh, you know what I really want to watch now? Over the Garden Wall. And I was getting dressed and I was so excited, like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna watch Over the Garden Wall tonight. Not seen that for a good few years. And then I stopped and was like, I have to watch Elves for the podcast.
maybe I should get an elves tattoo now.
That would be like everyone will know the other ones, and then they'll be like, "What's that?" And they're like, "That's the hit movie Elves." You mean you've
Yeah,
never seen Elves?
yeah. Just start gaslighting the entire world with my
It's like
tattoos.
when Frank Grimes is over for dinner at Homer's, and he's like, "You went to outer space," and Homer's like, "Sure, you've never been."
You've never watched Elves? Like 1989's Elves?
Classic movie with there seems to be a German DVD release, but I can't tell if that's a bootleg or not. I mean, I think it's not really left VHS. And I mean, did you look up on eBay how much people fucking want for those VHS copies?
No.
It's like 50 to 200 quid. I mean, no one's paying
Oh my
that.
god.
You go on Best of the Worst and suddenly...
Yeah, no, there's so little information on this film is the weird thing as well.
Oh, fucking tell me about it. Like, the Wikipedia said, and also the IMDb said it had a brief well, the Wikipedia said it had a brief theatrical window where it was rated PG-13, citation needed, and I'm like, it was not rated PG-13. Just,
No.
just like even if you cut the nudity out, the swearing, it was not rated PG-13. Citation needed, and it says PG-13 on the IMDb, but like, of course it wasn't. I can find no, it's clearly not. It was clearly shot to be on video. I'd be shocked if it got anything more than a couple of screenings here and there. The UK, it was rated 18, unsurprisingly, but IMDb says cuts by the BBFC cuts. But I can find no details on it. No one seems to know where the cuts were. like no
Ugh.
one has bothered to archive information about this movie.
Oh my god, are we gonna have to do like a deep dive into Elves one day?
I went into a deep dive for Elves. Honestly, I looked and I was like, there is like nothing. Like I have to call up and interview like the producers of the film to get
Yeah.
all this information.
Do a H-bomb level look into
Like we actually start and we're talking about like, I don't know, just Christmas movies, and then it's like, oh, don't look at the runtime, we got 3 hours left because this is about elves.
This is Elves, motherfucker.
This is elves, motherfucker. Oh, another thing I want to say, and this is not, we on the podcast, we never use hyperbole here at the Extreme Cinema Podcast.
Oh, never, no.
Never. Might be the worst musical score to any movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, who was the who
Like, do you remember
composed
the bit?
this?
Do you remember the bit, right, when they're outside the department store and the Salvation Army, are, like, a brass band are playing, like, Silent Night or something, like a Christmas
Oh, yeah,
carol.
yeah.
But, like, it's not actually, like, a brass band doing it on the score. It's, like, a synth with, like, a terrible synth version of a brass band that sounds like farts. Like, it's got a terrible, again, like, there's no drum. It's clearly all done on some keyboard with,
It's
like,
a keyboard,
yeah,
yeah.
like some horrible drum track on the back of this farty, synthy
It's
nonsense.
like when
Like,
you
some
press
of it sounds like stock music.
when you're in high school and you just press a DJ button over and over again.
DJ, DJ, DJ.
It's basically that for a score.
The person who used to live opposite me, who was making, like, electronic music and would put a moo cow over it occasionally, and it's the funniest thing. Sorry, Jack, you were a very nice person to live opposite.
Did you score Elves?
It'd be better.
Good.
I'm not even joking. That would be better than his fucking score.
What a crazy thing. I'm gonna try and get a copy of Elves one day. I'll pay 50 quid for the fucking VHS of
Well,
Elves.
my VHS copy of Troll 2 was like a $5, so,
This thing is insane. What else do you have to say on this thing? Like, it's
go fucking watch it. Like, get some friends around. It's gonna be really good fun.
yeah, it's one of those in the. We all know them. They're like so bad it's good. Watch it with a
It's a
group.
solid mid-tier,
Like,
so bad it's good. It's below, like, your Breens, your Rooms, your Troll
yeah,
2s. It's above, like, Manos.
yeah. Because Manos is actually really fucking boring. But anyway,
Manos is really fucking boring. This is better
yeah.
than Samurai Cop. I always thought Samurai Cop was a little overrated in terms of, like, so bad it's good. It's like, I would, if you're really into your B movies and your schlocky, VHS film, someone got to do this on Blu-ray at some point. Like, because of how unhinged the plot is, it doesn't
Yeah.
deserve to be, like, lost.
That's the thing. I hope it doesn't. Well, obviously, it'll not be lost, but talked about. Like, I hope it keeps up because it's unhinged. It's crazy.
Vinegar
Like, you get.
Syndrome. Get on it.
Yeah, exactly.
88
Just
films. Go on.
find a friggin' print of it and just put a Blu-ray out there. I'm sure they can do it. Like,
A, a print? Wasn't this, like, recorded onto a sandwich or something?
well, probably yeah. Find whatever the hell it was.
Like, I love also the bits where, like, the blocking is, like, completely wrong and you can't fucking see when anyone's standing, or, like, the microphone's in the wrong place and you can hear, like, when Dan Haggerty's in the library researching, it's like, the microphone is nowhere near him. It's like, I think it must be
Yeah.
behind him or something.
What did Red Letter Media must have had a VHF of it then?
I imagine so. I mean, presumably we both watched VHS rips of it, so, like,
Yeah, I
you
did.
know,
Yeah,
that's the thing. And they've got, like, every VHS on it.
yeah, very true.
Well, I guess that concludes season 3 of the Extreme Cinema Podcast.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
God,
We ended with elves.
we
We'll
ended
always
with
end with
fucking-
elves.
You know something, right? The universe was very against us putting this out. Like,
Oh, it
so
was,
much
yeah.
shit happened.
The universe. Well, the universe is just against us in general, but
It feels that way, certainly.
But it did not want us to talk about elves.
Didn't want us to talk about fucking anything. We started recording this at the start of the bloody year.
Yeah, oh god, I know.
But yeah, thank you for sticking with this podcast. Thank you for listening so much. What's been your favorite episode this season?
Ooh, I don't know. We've done some really good ones. I loved Thundercrack was hilarious, I thought.
I think Thundercrack's my favorite too, because Thundercrack
Yeah.
is like one of the most unique films just ever, and it's talking about something that unknown with that, like, where you're, like I said in that episode, like, we have to make that a thing, like,
Yeah.
talking about something that unknown that's so fucking recommendable.
I
is
liked
great.
how clever we sounded in Frenzy. That was good. Like we sounded like we knew shit during that.
We've both, like, we don't talk about Hitchcock, I'd say, that much, just like between us, but we both fucking love Hitchcock, and we both seen a lot of Hitchcock films and know a lot about Hitchcock.
Yeah, exactly. Like we actually flexed as because people don't know we watch films because of the stupid references we do all of the time in this. But
You mean when we compare like Saw to Harakiri?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Dom, what's Elves like?
Oh, we didn't even get one. I've not got a crazy one for it. It's just Troll 2, innit? Like you said.
Puppet Master? Question mark.
I've not watched Puppet Master for a while. God.
I'm so glad the plot was as bonkers as it was. Like, we normally don't do a
Yeah.
huge plot rundown, but for this, it was how to do it.
It needed it. That's how you did this. Like this. This is what anybody would go into this for. I mean, I'm guessing some people listen to this probably not seen Elves. Watch Elves. It's mental.
I actually have a feeling that most people listening to this wouldn't have seen Elves. I have a feeling most
Yeah.
people have not, in fact, seen Elves.
Yeah. It's easy to find a rip online.
There's a million on YouTube.
Yeah, just watch it. It's great, and you'll be watch it with a group. Get some drinks. You'll love it.
Don't tell anyone the plot.
Don't tell anybody the plot now. Sit down with some of your normie friends and see what they think. Like, we're gonna watch a horror.
Thank you everyone for listening to this season and this episode and
Yes.
every season. It really means so much to us that, we have an audience and we're doing this and we're chatting to people about films, and it's really a privilege to do it. So thank you all so much for listening.
The fact that 3 people might listen to this is crazy. So the fact that some of them get 1,000 listens is absolutely insane to us.
More
so
than
we
1,000.
appreciate every
Way
little
more.
thing. So we love it.
We're gonna be back. Season 4.
We will be back.
We will be doing.
Dom and Sterney will return in season 4.
Dom and Sterney will return in Cade the Tortured Crossing. Oh, okay. Thank you so much and take care. Goodbye.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Season 4. You've been listening to the Extreme Cinema Podcast with Alexander Sternberg and Dom Loach. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing as it really helps us out. The original artwork for the podcast was done by George Arnold. The Extreme Cinema Podcast, available where all good podcasts are available.